This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, if you're like me, every day you watch these stories, you see these stories, read these stories about these crazy cat ladies, these teachers, these administrators, these nurses attacking ICE and attacking CBP and screaming and blowing whistles and obstructing traffic and setting up little chop zones and checkpoints for one reason. They have one express purpose, one goal. It is to stop federal officials, federal law enforcement officials, cops. These are cops from arresting criminals, criminal illegal aliens who don't belong in this country, who came here and committed crimes, serious crimes. Tom Homan just gave a press conference in Minneapolis where he said they are drawing down. They're removing 700 ICE agents. They're going to leave 2,000, which is a good number. And he said the local officials will cooperate, allowing them to pick up suspects in jails. And that makes it possible for them to pull some people out of there. We'll see. But he also mentioned that so far, this operation, they've rounded up, let me get the numbers, 14 murderers, 129 sex offenders, and 28 gang members. Now I'd like to see those numbers, up a little bit, but that's pretty good. They're arresting murderers. And every step of the way, people, Americans, are trying to stop them. Now, I watch this like you, I'm sure, like most people, and it's just so maddening. It's so infuriating. We have Americans who are spending their days and nights fighting cops, obstructing justice. That's what they're doing. CNN just did a piece on 2 kids, high school kids, homeschooled, who spend their days tracking ICE, obstructing ICE. And they did this like they're heroes. Yeah, they're just well-intentioned, well-meaning young kids. And they're trying to stop cops from arresting criminals. We're going to look back on this moment, this era, and say, why did these people get so crazy? Why did they cross that line? We don't see crazy liberals obstructing, the FBI or the DEA or local cops or state cops, but federal immigration authorities. It's somehow become not just okay to get in their way, to scream at them, to harass them. Somehow it's noble. Somehow this is well-intentioned, stopping cops from arresting criminals. How did we get here? Who brainwashed these people? I understand the Democrat Party, liberals, the media, they're all in on this. ICE are the bad guys. The illegal alien criminals they're trying to remove are the victims. Now, we'll say it again. Barack Obama did the same thing. He used ICE to get criminals out of the country. He deported more than 3 million people. He used these guys the same way Trump is using them to find the worst of the worst and get them out. The only difference is there was no one trying to stop them in 2014. They let them do their job. Somehow, some way, a switch was flipped in the last year where they said, we must stop them. Let's rise up. Let's coordinate on our signal chats. Let's put out email. Let's get teachers to force their students to walk out of class, make signs, scream, yell, and try to stop cops. This is a new phenomenon, and it's all because they hate Trump. That's the first factor. The other one is politically. They want as many illegals here as possible, and they're willing to protect murderers, actual murderers, to get what they want. This is madness, and I know we've talked about it many times, and we'll talk about it more. It is utter madness at this point that it's okay to do what they're doing. And I want to go back to the way I watch this, the way I follow this, it's very annoying. It's very frustrating. I can't believe, like, actual cities, actual, New York and LA and Minneapolis have elected officials working with people, residents, Americans, to stop law enforcement from doing their job, which by any definition is a worthy job, removing criminals. There should be nothing controversial. Somehow there is. But here's what I do. I think of the victims. I understand liberals don't care about victims. They never have. They never will. They don't care about all the people who've been hurt, killed by illegals, all the people who have OD'd on fentanyl that came over the open border. They don't care that Joe Biden let 15 million people in. There was no reason to protest that. No, we would not want to make a sign and march because the president allowed 15 million illegal aliens into the country, including terrorists and gang members. That was fine. That was just, politics. We need new voters. This, trying to remove them, repair the damage that Biden did, is somehow a bridge too far. It's a reason to not only go out in the cold and protest and kick and scream, but to risk your life. Yes, Renee Good and Alex Preddy gave their lives to protect foreign pedophiles, third world criminals. That's what they did. You can dress it up all you want and say, they believed in something. They gave their lives for this cause. You know who else gave their lives? Lots and lots of people who were victims, who were killed, hurt by illegal aliens that shouldn't have been here. And I just can't imagine the frustration, the pain that they must feel, the families, the survivors watching this. Here's a guy named Danny Ferguson. He posted this yesterday. As he's watching these protests in Minneapolis and everywhere else, as he's listening to politicians, elected officials, Jerry Nadler and Chris Murphy and Hakeem Jeffries call the cops the bad guys, call the cops thugs and fascists and Nazis. They have to watch that, and they have to sit there in just agony, thinking of what the people Biden brought in here, the illegals, did to them, destroyed their families, just ruined their lives. Here's the post from Danny Ferguson. He's just a guy in Texas. He posts this. It's a picture, if you're just listening, of all the victims, of many of the victims, hundreds of victims of illegal alien crime. Some of them we know. We know Laken Riley and Rachel Marin and Molly Tibbetts and Jocelyn Nungaray. We know. I didn't know about Mandy Ferguson. He points out in the post, he says that's my daughter, the sixth one from the right. Can you zero in on Mandy Ferguson? And I said, this must just be so brutal. She was a sixth grade teacher in El Paso, Texas. She was killed by an illegal alien driving hit and run, crossing the street, run down by an illegal alien, killed, 29 years old, on a North Mesa Street crosswalk in El Paso. The illegal alien ran a red light and killed this guy's daughter. And that's painful. That's brutal. You don't ever recover from that. But to make it worse, to make it more painful, he has to watch hundreds of millions of his fellow Americans marching in the streets, protesting, screaming, committing crimes, blocking the roads in support of people like the man, let me get his name here, Joel Jose Velasquez, 24 years old, arrested for running down his daughter. And these people want him in the country. They want him here. They want to protect him. I can't even imagine the agony. If you're one of Rachel Morin's 5 children, and they have to watch their mother was brutally beaten and murdered by an illegal alien in Maryland, I believe. They have to watch every day while these lunatics take to the streets to protect the people who ruined their lives, who ruined their families. It must just be so maddening, just beyond belief. What happened here? What happened that made people go all in on this? Again, risk their lives, their freedom, risk their jobs. We've seen it many times. Nurses and teachers lose their jobs because they're out there committing crimes, attacking federal agents to protect illegal aliens. We got a couple of examples. The latest of these madmen, these crazy people. Here's give me the black ICE agent doing his job in Minneapolis. This is a guy who joined. I mean, what they're doing is really noble work. This is good work. They're arresting criminals, protecting the public, and they have to deal with this. Again, they didn't have to deal with it, 12 years ago when Barack Obama was president, but they work for Trump, so they are the bad guys. Here he is just trying to go to work, do his job, gets surrounded by this mob of typical, white, liberal, crazy people. Listen to what they call him. I don't even know. Is this bleeped out? Because they call him the N-word, of course, a race traitor, a black guy trying to arrest criminals. And they attack him with the most vile language. He has a great response, but somehow he's just supposed to take it. I am amazed at the restraint, at the patience that these guys show. Trying to do your job while you're being harassed, whistles blown in your ear, called a Nazi on a daily basis. I wouldn't blame this guy if he snapped and just started punching people, but he didn't. He kept his cool, and he had a great retort. Watch.
Families should be ripped apart. Is that kind of your energy? Like we should rip people apart from their families? Are you a man? Wow, is that a question? Wow. Okay. How do you feel about ripping people from their families? Does that feel good? Fucking house nigger. Sir, I need to move. Fucking house nigger working for the fucking KKK. What's wrong with you people? Why are you calling a woman a man?
There's a tranny who's harassing him, and all he does is say, "Are you a man? Are you a man?" They flip out. They call him the N-word. And that somehow is okay. They can call you a Nazi, and they can call you an N-word, a house blank, and they can just call you the most vile things, scream in your face, blow whistles. But if you ask one simple question, "Are you a man?" They all say, "Oh, wow, that's crossing the line." They live in this bizarre bubble where they're the good guys. The black guy trying to get the Ecuadorian child molester, he's the bad guy. They're the good guys. They're the virtue signalers. And it's just amazing. Get the guy walking to his car. I believe he works for ICE, but we're not sure. He's just stopping for coffee. And again, this is a Hispanic guy with his coworkers, stops for coffee in the morning before heading out to work. Watch what happens as he walks to it. Watch how friggin' entitled, empowered these crazy liberal ladies feel. Watch what she does to this poor guy. Go ahead.
Fucking bitch! Fuck you! Fuck you!
She slaps the coffee out of his hand and onto the ground. Now, if he turned around and cold cocked her, if he punched her in the face, I would defend him. That would be self-defense. He just looks at her and walks away. Can we just say, I know, it was a tragedy when Alex Preddy put himself in that position, ended up dead. When he fought with the cops, when Renee Good drove at a cop, tried to kill him, That was a tragedy. For the most part, these guys are showing incredible restraint. Can you imagine having your morning coffee slapped out of your hand by some just deranged liberal and you walk away? I commend that guy. I mean, I couldn't do that. I'm not sure most people could do that. But he just looks at her like, you are insane, and walks away. God bless him. God bless ICE. These guys are heroes. I know we call cops heroes like all the time, and in many cases they are. I mean, I always think you judge them by their actions. I mean, I don't think you're a hero just for joining the force, but when you do things, like when you save people, when you stop bad guys, that's heroic. These guys are dealing with things that normal, everyday police, normal cops don't have to deal with. They have to deal with a whole group, a network, an organized network of people trying to stop them, trying to hurt them. They have shown incredible restraint, and it's not going to end. Here's what people don't understand. Even though Tom Homan announced they're drawing down 700 people, but they're leaving 2,000. It's not going to end. Trump has 3 more years. He's not going to stop. There's still thousands and thousands of illegal alien criminals in the country, and ICE and Border Patrol are going to continue to do their job. And you people, you want to continue out there kicking and screaming? Fine. But they're not going away. You didn't win. You didn't win because they drew down a few people. You didn't win because some crazy judge said they have to stop shooting tear gas at you. You're not going to win this. You can't win this. I know you feel good. You think you're protecting, these poor marginalized murderers, but you're not going to win this. And it's going to get worse. There's going to be more Renee Goods. There may be an ICE agent who gets hurt, gets killed, and then what? And then what are you going to say? And you know what else isn't going to change? Democrats. They're going to continue, the media, continue to villainize, demonize these guys who are doing God's work. Get me Jerry Nadler. This is incredible. This is one of the highest ranking Democrats, a guy who's been there for 1,000 years. He's retiring because he's just a disgusting blob that can barely walk. But he just cavalierly, casually, in a hearing in Congress, says that if you shoot an ICE agent, it would be understandable, justified even, because ICE agents are wearing masks. Listen to this.
The attacks on American citizens by masked hoodlums. If you were attacked by a masked person, you might think you were being kidnapped. You'd be justified in shooting the person.
Justified in shooting the person. They're wearing masks because they've been doxxed. Their families are threatened. Of course they're wearing masks. They have all these people determined to hurt them, dox them. And this guy says you'd be justified in shooting them. What happens if someone shoots an ICE agent today? Does he apologize? Do the Democrats condemn the rhetoric? Do you hear, Jake Tapper and George Stephanopoulos say, maybe they've gone too far, talking about shooting ICE agents? By the way, they have vests that say police, that say ICE, that say CBP. Everyone knows they're cops, and everyone knows what their job is: to arrest criminals, to arrest people who shouldn't be here. Again, none of these people gave a damn for 4 years while Joe Biden let the killers in, let the rapists in. That was fine, no big deal. But trying to get them out is a problem. Trying to get them out is fascism. Again, we're going to look back on this moment in time and just say, half the country done lost its mind. That's what's happened here. They've lost their mind. Their judgment has been clouded by Trump, by hatred for Trump. So they think anything they do to fight Trump is justified. It's going to get worse, sadly. I do think we certainly played you many of these crazy liberal ladies, these crazy awfuls, these affluent white females, these deranged pear-shaped witches out there trying to protect third world pedophiles. We may have a winner here, Ironhead. This could be the craziest ever. This is an actual post. I believe it's been confirmed. It's not a parody. This is a person. And I don't even know how to describe this. A mother who says if she thought ICE was going to take her children, she would kill them. She would kill herself and her children before she would allow ICE to get them, because ICE, according to this woman, are pedophiles. What? ICE is arresting pedophiles, you lunatic. But if you're just listening, if you're not looking, this person has, I don't know, about 20 face piercings. Her whole face is covered with like thumbtacks sticking out of her cheeks. And she goes on, I assume TikTok, and says she's ready. She's ready to take drastic measures to keep ICE from taking her children. Well, I hear this all the time. Like they're grabbing American citizens. My response is, could you give me a quick list of American citizens who've been detained by ICE and held for more than, I don't know, an hour? Any of them been deported? American citizens? Are there any American citizens in CCOT? No, because 99.5% of the people are illegal aliens that ICE detains and hopefully deports. But this is someone who's been totally brainwashed. By whom? I don't know, TikTok, The View, Rachel Maddow. Somebody has brainwashed this woman to the point where she, with a straight face, says she'll kill her own kids before she will allow ICE to come and arrest them. Watch this.
I really pray it doesn't get bad enough. But being a mom in America, I had to stop walking for this. I often think that if it gets to the point of knocking on doors, God, and like to even have these thoughts, it's like I'm literally separating from reality right now. If it comes down to me taking out myself and my kids versus us being taken and harmed by ICE, like, God help me, I did not want to do it. This is not the life I wanted. But that is a very dark thought that I've had. Death would be a easier out than for my children to be taken and harmed by these pedophiles.
That has 73,000 likes. She posts it and says, does anyone else have these thoughts? God help us if other people have those thoughts. First of all, I don't think she's an illegal alien. I think she's an American. Why are they taking your children? I mean, ICE isn't going to take your children, but child services probably should. That woman is really into pain. She likes pain. That's a danger. That woman has children, according to her, and she's willing to kill them. It just gets crazier by the day. It just gets more insane, and it ain't ending anytime soon. All right, we got so much more to get to. We got to get to the latest tactics by the Democrats to try to tie Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. They've been waiting months for this. Trump, the pedophile. Yeah, we're going to get him. Once the files drop, it didn't happen. It's not going to happen, but they don't care. They'll just keep lying. I want to get to Massachusetts Congressman James McGovern, just a complete sleazeball, and we got to get to Mondami too, and we're going to get to the NFL coming up short again. The NFL, the New York Times, ESPN, they're not happy because a bunch of new coaches just got hired, and they didn't hire any black guys, which means they failed. They don't know how to celebrate diversity. We'll get to the NFL, but give me James McGovern's post, because this has just become ridiculous. They are so frustrated that there was nothing in the latest Epstein file dump tying Trump to Epstein, but they don't care. They will just make it up. This is defamatory, slanderous, actionable. I hope Trump is paying attention. But McGovern just a disgrace of a congressman from Massachusetts. He's probably feeling like a little left out because, Ayanna Pressley and Liz Warren get all the attention. And he wants you to know he really hates Trump too. So he posts this yesterday. He writes, "This isn't some anonymous tip. This is sworn testimony under penalty of perjury from someone who said Trump threatened to kill her if she exposed Epstein's sexual abuse." And he's got the document from the court, from this person. It says, "I personally witnessed Donald Trump telling the plaintiff that she shouldn't ever say anything if she didn't want to disappear like 12-year-old," somebody redacted, "and that he was capable of having her whole family killed." And it's signed and posted. This psycho, Jim McGovern, doesn't mention that this has nothing to do with the Epstein files. It wasn't in the Epstein files. It was from a court case years ago. I guess he probably knew that, but it was from a court case years ago. And let me tell you what the court determined. This is just hilarious. These people are shameless. Here's Greg Price tweeted this out, and he's just so right. This isn't from the Epstein files. It's from a decade-old civil lawsuit filed against President Trump by a mentally ill drug addict named Katie Johnson that was thrown out of court because she made the entire thing up. This is from the Daily Mail's story. Here's the headline. "Troubled woman with a history of drug use who claimed that she was assaulted by Trump at a Jeffrey Epstein party at age 13 made it all up." That was determined by the court. A mentally ill drug addict accused Trump of threatening to kill her family, and a U.S. congressman posts it as if it were a revelation, as if it were a fact. I mean, I know Trump's busy suing people. I know he's got a lot of legal actions pending. He should add this one. It's just insane. James McGovern either knew that this was not credible and posted it anyway, which makes him a liar, or he didn't know and he's lazy and he just posted it anyway. But this is how it works. I'll have people tweeting this to me saying, "Look, Trump threatened to kill this girl's family. She was 13. Didn't you see what this congressman posted?" There are so many lies swirling around. I mean, Ted Lieu went in front of the media yesterday and said Trump's been accused of threatening to kill someone's family and raping a child. It's all made up. They can't stand the fact that the Epstein files have been dumped, and it makes their guys look a lot worse than Trump. Bill Gates and Bill Clinton are in it up to their eyeballs, and Stacey Plaskett and all kinds of. He was a Democrat. He hung around with mostly Democrats. What did you think was going to happen? And Trump yesterday said it's time to move on, and this is why, because they're just going to make stuff up. They're going to post stuff. Congressman, if this were posted by just some schmuck, you'd say that was bad. This was posted by a U.S. congressman. Just amazing what they get away with. All right, let's get to Mamdani. How's it working out for you? New York City. You elected a Marxist Muslim radical, and you thought it was going to be okay. What they're going through right now in New York's amazing. He's been in office for a month? Less than a month? And it's been a disaster. First of all, he doesn't even know how to remove the snow. They have massive snowbanks, black, dirty snowbanks, and they're covered with trash because they haven't picked up the trash in weeks in New York. So New York is a mess. Homeless people are freezing to death. At least 16 homeless people died on the street because this fool stopped the policy, which would have had the tent cities taken down and people put into shelters. No, you have a right to freeze to death under the commie Mamdani. And they did, and they are. And I can't imagine if, Rudy Giuliani or whatever, Curtis Lee were a mayor and 16 people froze to death because they didn't put them in shelters. These are the most marginalized, the most vulnerable people, and this clown got them killed. But it gets worse. There was an incident a couple days ago in Queens. The parents of 22-year-old Jabez Chakraborty called 911 on the morning of January 26, saying their son was in emotional distress and needed medical attention. The NYPD showed up within minutes. Body cam video released by the police shows NYPD officers being led into the home. But what begins as a standard response takes a turbulent turn as soon as the man sees the officers. The body cam footage shows Chakraborty with a knife as family members try to stop him from advancing towards the retreating officer. In the video, you can hear the officer's calls to drop the knife repeatedly before he fires. The cop not only backed up, he shut a door and went between them to try to de-escalate, but this lunatic kept coming with the gun, so the cops did what they had to do and shot him. Didn't kill him, injured him. Here is Mamdani's response, and you could see the body cam footage. Again, thank God for body cam. The body cam footage shows what this poor officer was dealing with, the split decision he had to make. And Mamdani, of course, doesn't show any support or sympathy for the cop, just the victim. Go ahead.
And as you said, I spoke with the Chakraborty family and I visited Chavez in the hospital. And there is no family should have to endure this kind of pain.
Baba, no! Hey, put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Move! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down!
He's on the other side of a door ordering him to drop the knife. So he did what he had to do. The cop obviously is in the right. The mayor visited the perp, the crazy knife-wielding maniac in the hospital. That's what he did. The mayor visited the criminal in the hospital and supported the family. The family released a statement. We're shocked and outraged. We called 911 for an ambulance to provide medical attention for our son who was in emotional distress. We did not call the police. Instead of medical responders, the NYPD arrived and shot our son multiple times in front of us. You got to be kidding me. This is one of Mamdani's campaign promises, not to send the cops to every 911 call, to send counselors and medical professionals. Let me ask you this. What if he did send medical professionals? You know what you'd have? You'd have a dead EMT. That's what you would have.
Well, EMTs aren't even allowed to go into buildings.
What?
The EMTs aren't even allowed to go into buildings until the cops go through for this kind of reason.
But he wants to change those rules. We don't need cops. We need medical professionals and therapists and counselors. They'd be dead. You saw the knife. He's got this huge knife. And the cop was so restrained, so patient, so poised under pressure. He told him to drop the knife 100 times, and he didn't. And he did. And, luckily he's not dead. The mayor was in there visiting him, and, maybe he brought him some, cookies or flowers. Just incredible. A cop's going to get killed because of this mayor. You watch. Probably more than one. It is a disaster, and it's less than a month with this absolute buffoon. He's not even, forget the fact that he's a communist, an Islamist. He's a child, never had a real job, never managed anything, doesn't know what he's doing. This is going to be a disaster. You get what you voted for, New York. You voted for a friggin' communist Nepo baby. It's not going to get any better. It is going to get worse. All right. Let's get to the NFL. Let's get to Roger Goodell, because I Googled, the New York Times has a story about this and how they're taking a step back in their effort to make the NFL more diverse, and how awful it is that 10 new coaches are going to be hired. There's 9 already. It's going to be a 10th, and they're all white, which that immediately sets off the alarm bells in the New York Times. So I Googled the New York Times story, and all the New York Times story, I know I did like black coaches, Goodell. There's one every year. It's like 2006, 2005, 2003, 2002. They do this story every year. They could hire 9 black coaches and 1 white guy, and the New York Times would say, "But that one white guy, what did he do to deserve it?" This is just so silly. Roger Goodell needs to understand. It's 2026, Roger. You don't have to do this anymore. This whole thing is like 2020. Feels like 2020. Feels like, George Floyd, Summer of Love stuff all over again. But for some reason, Goodell continues to bow to the mob, continues to bend over for the New York Times and ESPN and all the other woke liberal outlets who just do this, out of reflex. Oh, they hired coaches. They're not black. Oh, they got to do better. This is a step back. And I know I've talked about this 1,000 times over the years. This is so absurd. Can someone explain to me why you have to have more black coaches, but you don't have to have more white players or Asian players? The New York Times in this piece points out that the league is 70% black. Well, great. That's fine. That means black guys earned the job and earned the position on the field. Why is it different for coaches? Why do you look at a coach and say, he got the job because he's white, or he didn't get the job because he's black? There is no position, no job anywhere where merit is more important than NFL head coach. Owners live and die on whether their team wins or loses. Players, fans. Winning is all that matters. And that's why they have 70% black players, because they're the best players. Does anyone think they pick a player because of his race? Of course not. It's on merit. So why do we think the coaches are any different? Why is it we're supposed to employ social engineering at the head coach position, but not the player position or any other position? Why should race be a factor? And when you sit there and say these 10 new coaches are all white, which ones shouldn't have got the job because they're white? Should John Harbaugh not have been hired by the Giants? Should Mike LaFleur not have been hired by the Cardinals? Kevin Stefanski, Falcons, Joe Brady, the Bills? Which one, New York Times and Roger Goodell, which one should not have been hired? Tell us. Give us names on why they shouldn't have been hired. Right now, you have Mike Vrabel versus Mike McDonald in the Super Bowl. They're obviously when McDonald's young. Vrabel's in his first year. He replaced a black coach who went 4-13. He's in the Super Bowl. This time last year, were these New York Times people saying Vrabel's only got the job because he's white, or McDonald only got the job because he's white? What about Sean McVay? What about Jim Harbaugh? Did you question when they got hired? When Sean McVay got hired 10 years ago, when he was 30 years old, did you say, oh, another white guy just getting the job because he's white? How'd it go? How's it working out? Who should have gotten the job instead of him? So John Harbaugh gets the Giants job. So you don't think he should have got it? Some black guy should have got it because he's black? Is that what you're saying? Because you're counting the numbers. There's three black head coaches now out of 32. That's obviously, what is that? 10%. 10% black population is 13%. So it's a little low, but is that what we should have? 13%, same as the public? Oh no, we should have more because there are more players. Why? Why? I mean, I've said that many times. The best coaches, guys like McVay and Belichick and Andy Reid, and these guys are, coach. They've been working their whole life toward the goal of being a coach. Belichick was never going to be a player. So he got a real head start on others because he was working towards becoming a coach when he was a kid. Players, they played for 10, 12, 15 years. That's time they weren't coaching. So in many ways, this unknown, unathletic white guy is more qualified than, say, a player who just retired, a Gerard Mayo. But that doesn't matter. All they care about is white, black, white, he's white, he's black. That's the mindset still at the New York Times and ESPN. Here's Goodell cowering before these people saying there's more work to do. What work? Explain it to me, Roger. What work are you talking about? What is the work of making sure that you have race-based hiring in the most important job in the league, in the industry, head coach of a team? You need to work at looking at players' skin color, at coaches' skin color, rather than their credentials and their potential as a coach. What sense does that make? Listen to this absolute cuck.
I think we need to continue to make progress, and I believe that. I believe diversity is good for us. I think we have become a more diverse league across every platform, including coaching. But we still have more work to do. There's got to be more steps. So we're reevaluating everything we're doing, including our accelerated program, including every aspect of our policies and our programs to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow rather than yesterday. So we need to be looking at that and sort of say, okay, why did we have the results this year? What is it that we can be doing in training or education, and that goes for not just the candidates, but also the clubs, and how we can try to continue to increase the opportunities and the outcomes ultimately.
Well, what does that even mean? He's such a pathetic, spineless squish. It means nothing. Do more work and we have to get more progress. Progress? Why is it progress? If you base a hiring on skin color, that is DEI. That's what that is. And it doesn't work out well. I mean, there were two black coaches who lost their job. Mike Tomlin stepped down after years in Pittsburgh. Great run, replaced by Mike McCarthy. So does that mean Pittsburgh is part of the problem? Pittsburgh, because they just had a black coach quit and replaced him with a white coach? I like this. This makes it so convoluted, so ridiculous. It makes no sense. And people are done with it. You can sit there, New York Times and Boston Globe and ESPN, and say, why didn't they hire, whatever, Ray Morris or Brian Flores? Well, let's talk about the credentials of the guy they did hire. The young guy, smart, innovative. Oh no, he's white. Can't do that. It makes no sense. And it feels like something out of the past, something we're pretty much done with. We're moving on. We don't care what color they are, whether they're players or coaches, again, or front office people, PR people, or scouts or assistant coaches. Do they count them too? Let's count. See how many are black. See how many are white. Stick it. Save it. We're done with that. We're done with it. But they'll continue to ask because it's very distressing that all these coaches are white. See how they do. Maybe, you know what? I should look back, see what they said when they hired John McVay or Mike McDonald or Liam Cohen in Jacksonville. I'll bet you anything. I'll look this up. That when he was hired, there was somebody at the New York Times saying, oh, another white guy in the old boys network. How'd he do with the Jacksonville Jags? How did Liam Cohen do? Okay, so it worked out. But you wanted him to not get the job because he's white. You're the racist. All right. Speaking of racist, before we go, Ironhead, we got to do this. This made me laugh out loud. I'm guessing at this point, Billie Eilish regrets her moronic speech at the Grammys when she said, no one is illegal on stolen land. She sounded like one of those kids, those like 8th graders, inner city school where the teachers let them all out to go march, protest, and they go out there and they say, no one's illegal on stolen land. ICE out, F ICE. It's just so juvenile and just so stupid. Well, she said no one's illegal on stolen land, and immediately people pointed out that she has a nice house. She has a couple of them. Big, like $8 million mansion in Malibu on stolen land. Who do we steal it from? Well, according to the Tongva tribe, yeah, we stole it from them. And the Tongva tribe came out yesterday with a statement and said they're open to getting their land back, Billy. If you're sincere, you want to give the land back to the rightful owners, well, they're willing to take it. What do you think she'll say about this? Here's the spokesman. It said the tribe gave a statement to the Daily Mail. Eilish has not contacted our tribe directly regarding her property. We do value the instance when public figures provide visibility to the true history of this country. It is our hope that in future discussions, the tribe can explicitly be referenced to ensure the public understands that the greater Los Angeles basin remains Tongva territory. Go ahead, Billy, give it back. You said it was stolen. Well, didn't you steal it? Doesn't belong to them? The Tongva tribe. Has anyone ever given anything, like given any land or property back to the Native Americans? You could be the first, Billy. I think you should be the first. I'm calling you.
If they have, it hasn't been the loud ones.
No. Wouldn't that be amazing if Billie Eilish says, you know what? I'm going to give it to the Tongva tribe, and they get the house right in the middle of, it's all mansions and, Hollywood celebs and masters of the universe in their neighborhood. And Kamala Harris just moved in, and boom, the Tongva tribe takes over her house right in the middle. But that won't happen because she's full of shit, like all these liberals, like every one of these fools at the Grammys. They don't mean a word of it. ICE out. That's the extent of the depth of their knowledge of this issue. ICE out. F ICE. Oh, isn't she amazing? F ICE. Just amazing. Nicki Minaj is the only one with any balls or brains. But all right, we will leave it there for today, this Wednesday. We got to do our Super Bowl preview, Ironhead. Keep pushing that off. Maybe tomorrow. We'll get to it tomorrow. I have some thoughts. I think I know what's going to happen, but we'll get to that. We'll leave it there for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
We've got to get this done, and we've got to get it done very quickly. The SAVE Act is an abomination. It's Jim Crow 2.0 across the country. We are going to do everything we can to stop it.